Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some FTL, shall we? Continuing our complete beginner's guide with the Kestrel, and we're in Sector 2. I'm going to just push J to bring up the jump map, the beacon map, and we're in a nebula. So we intentionally went to a nebula because I want to talk to you about what happens in a nebula, and so we can explore with the fleet pursuing a little slower. So every beacon that is surrounded by this purple glow, okay, is a nebula beacon. This one down here, for example, is not in the nebula. You can see the nebula, this kind of like purplish, gassy cloud, and then down here, this one is outside of the cloud, but really to be sure, you need to just look visually at each of the beacons, and these up here are free. So what does that mean? Well, in a nebula, if you mouse over it, it says the rebel fleet was prepared for the nebula, so it won't be as effective as a hiding spot. So this means that because the rebel fleet knows that this sector is nebula, it doesn't slow down the pursuit of the fleet as much as if it were on a regular map. So some maps won't even say that they're nebula. They might say civilian sector or, Mantis controlled or whatever, pirate area. But then when you go there, there'll be just a nebula on the map. And if you're on a nebula that the fleet is not prepared for, it slows them down, makes them move basically at half speed. So you can kind of see them creeping along. So it's a great way to queue up and tackle a bunch of beacons if you can, because you'll get more time to do so. So while a nebula on a regular map slows the rebel fleet by 50%, on this map, because they're prepared for it, it only slows the rebel fleet by 20%. So they do move slower, but not as much of a rate. Now, the other thing about nebulas is, especially nebula sectors, there tend to be a lot of empty nodes, and that can be really crushing. It's like a wasted node. You hate to see it because you're really trying to get as many rewards as possible. But because the fleet is slowed down, you can maybe sometimes explore more. So, typically I like to do green sectors, sometimes red sectors, and I won't do nebula sectors too often if I can avoid them, because you want to be able to get resources. Like an empty node is a wasted opportunity. But I did want to just talk to you about the nebula, and we're going to see. There's actually some really cool events. There's some terrifying things that can happen as well. And let's just jump here. Let's look at the exit and see if there's anything funky about its connections. Yeah, okay, so basically this connection doesn't work very well, and neither does this one, meaning like you can't go from here to here. But if I get to this point, I can easily get to the exit. So we just need to be able to get here. So we could go 1, 2, 3 out of the nebula, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. So I'm going to go around. And here we go. Okay. So this is one of the dangers of nebula, unfortunately. And it says a rock armored transport nearby looks to have lost its bearings, but when they hail you, they grow suspicious. Whatever life form you are, we find you repugnant. We seek no aid. Leave now. So you can fight them, okay, if you want. They're a rock ship. They have a couple of lasers. But the reason I would perhaps say to not fight them here is because in this current situation, we're at half power. What does that mean? So sometimes you get this environmental effect of an ion storm that takes down your power by half. You can see all these bars are blue. And so you can't do as many things as you'd like. Our O2, for example, is off right now. We could power it on, but our shields are at half power. Our engines are at half. Sensors don't typically work in Nebula anyway. And then we can only fire either missiles, or we could power up the burst laser, but we wouldn't have oxygen. So I'm actually going to just leave them alone and see. So inside the nebula, as you can see, it says your sensors will not function. All right, so your sensors are just going to be put out, which means you can only see inside your own ship like this, in the rooms that you have people in. And if you had higher sensors, you couldn't see in their ship. They're just off. It's not the end of the world. That's not that bad, but this is bad. It's a plasma storm. I'm sorry, not an ion storm. And your main reactor only functions at half capacity. So these are not ideal. I'm going to go ahead and jump down to here. Okay, so now we get a ship, and it's a pirate. It's a Revel rigger. It's a Revel ship, but we're not inside a plasma storm, so we have the advantage of full power. And I do not want to remain concealed because I need to get some rewards. Now, they have drones, unfortunately. They have a beam. They have a laser. But our 2 shields should win the day on them. So we're going to attack. I'm going to pause it immediately. I got to power up. Unfortunately, we're a little bit behind on powering everything up. And they have a defense drone. Okay, so because they have a defense drone, this thing will shoot down missiles, and that's a problem for us. So what we're going to do is just not fire missiles right now, because you'll try to fire a missile, this thing will take it down, and you'll just waste a missile. So instead, I'm just going to fire at their shields with my burst laser as soon as it's ready. We should be okay with our own shields once they get powered up, and they're powered back up to full. Great. If we take down their drone, okay, they have a charge laser. They hit us. So they hit us right here with this laser with one big shot, but our shield took it, and then the beam could not penetrate. It's not strong enough to penetrate our shield, so we're in good shape. All right, we ding their shield once. I'm just going to try to get their shield again. They hit us for 1. Yeah, this ship cannot hurt us. So this is why leveling up to 2 pips of shields is just so insane, especially early on in your run, because once you get to this position where you have 2 shield bubbles, some ships, like this ship can just actually not hurt us. So we can just sit here forever if we want. Now, that actually is a strategy that some players do. So you'll notice that, like, if I mouse over my characters, they're working on their skills. You know, Ekman is really working on piloting, and he did some repair work as well. Notch is engines, and Thomas is weapons. And if we just stand here, and if we had somebody working the shields, especially because the shields keep getting hit, we could just level up. We could just grind up experience. Now, I don't like to do that just because it takes forever. But if you want to do that and get a real big advantage on a fight where you realize that they can't hurt you, you could just chill and just, you know, let the game run for like 5-10 minutes and come back and your people will be skilled up. That's just up to you. Good. Okay, we took down their shield. I'm now going to... I'm just going to keep hitting their shield. I'm going to try to take down their shield system entirely. Oh, it caught fire. So you'll notice how it was orange, and then it went to red. Okay, remember that our burst laser Mark II, it has a possible effect of starting a fire. If that happens, just like a fire on our ship, it will progressively do damage to that room, and it can take out the system that it is in there. And so now their shields are off. That's awesome. So let's go ahead and fire our burst laser somewhere else. I'm just going to push 2. I'm going to hold control, and I'm going to take out their piloting so that they can't dodge. Now again, Normally, you know that I like to take out shields and weapons. Those are like my primary systems, and those are what I recommend you take out first. But in this situation, you always have to adjust. They can't hurt us with their weapons, so there's no reason necessarily to take down weapons, okay? I could take down drones so I could fire a missile, but why waste a missile? So this seems to be, the best play for us to win. Now, when take everything we have, just don't kill us, they say. So they're surrendering. Remember, most of the time you want to reject this offer unless it's really good. And in this case, it's really good. Or unless you're about to die, or you don't like the situation and you want to just get out of it, that's fine too. Sometimes if I'm like in an asteroid field or it's a really tough matchup against their ship, I might just take it so I can, cut my losses and get out of there. But whenever they give you something, in this case, they want to give us an augment. If they want to give you a gun, an augment, some kind of reward in addition to the resources, take it every time. I think it's fantastic to do that because you can sell this at the worst case scenario. They're giving me an automated reloader, okay? This is a fantastic augment. Augments are passive boosts that you install onto your ship, and you can have 3 of them, and this one just makes our guns load faster. They charge up faster, basically, so it's super helpful. And even if we didn't want it, we could sell it, but this is great. We also get 2 missiles and 14 scrap. So if I go into my ship, okay, by pushing U, and then I go over here to the third tab, and I look in augmentations, I'll have automated reloader, and I can mouse over it, and it says cooldown between weapon shots is improved by 10%. This is actually, it doesn't maybe seem like that much, but it is a big chunk. Like, my burst lasers, okay, aren't the fastest at charging. In fact, if you go to this screen, okay, you get more information than if you mouse over on the main UI. So it says here charge time 12 seconds, okay, and charge time 11 seconds. So if you think about, 10% of 12 seconds, you're talking about a full second or over a full second faster for the Burst Laser Mark 1 and for the Artemis missiles. And sometimes, since both ships are like charging up, that could be the difference where you get to charge yours first and take the first shot in a fight or, something like that, which can turn the tide of the whole battle. All right, so we're going to jump and boom, we found a store. Now, I don't have a lot of money, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is... okay, I'm going to go here, and then to the store. And then we can go down here and go here, and then we could, work back up to the exit. You see, the Rebel fleet is not pursuing us super quickly because of the nebula. So we're going to go ahead. You can actually see their little bit of their line right here. Now, if it feels like we don't have enough, we'll just hit the store. Okay, so this is bad. You see a number of derelict ships near this beacon. After a short time, you hear the telltale sounds of teleporter and shouts, "You've been boarded." Okay, so we're going to just pause the game. We've been boarded, okay? Now, the problem with being boarded in a nebula is that we don't know where they are. So that's a disaster. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately take my pilot out, okay? And... oh, no, we do know where they are, okay, because there's a fist right here on the shields. So this means that they are in my shield room, all right? So we can't see, but if there's a fist right here, this means that somebody is attacking inside this room. So there's bad guys in here, even though we can't see it. So I'm going to take my pilot, and I'm going to run into the door room. Now, the reason is, if you man doors, watch my doors. You see how they're orange? Now they've turned gray. Once you man doors, you make them stronger. So it means that they're harder for the enemy to get through. I'm going to now open up these doors to space to take out the oxygen. I'm going to cut the O2, and I'm going to run all of my people into the med bay, okay? So I'm also going to turn the medbay on. Borders are really tough to deal with, and it's a part of the game that you just have to get used to. Luckily, there's no ship that we're fighting. A lot of the times, you're having to fight a ship and deal with the borders at the same time. So it's a lot of micromanagement. It's a lot of, like, freneticness. There might be a fire that, you have to just be constantly manipulating your people. It can be very aggravating in this game. Your people kind of move slowly. You don't get to choose the path that they take. So managing them is a hassle in and of itself. But at the same time, you'll get used to it. And always pause the game so that you can handle this. So we can't see them, but they're in the shields. And we're going to go ahead and run over here. Bam. Okay. Now, I'm going to just stand here. Okay, now they've actually left the shield room. And they have taken out our sensors, which, okay, fine. I'm going to just take the oxygen out, and you can see they're attacking this doorway. And this is all fine. I'm going to let them do this for a moment, because I'm softening up their hit points by taking out the O2. Actually, no, I need to keep him in there, because the doors remain strong while he's manning the doors, okay? So let's go ahead and just let them fire at this. Now, the enemy AI will, like, react basically to the fact that we took the oxygen out. So they kind of were like, stopped attacking the shields, and we're like, we need to get out of here. So they did. Now they're in this room. Okay. Now, I will say visually, you can see these doors have not been damaged, so I can still open and close them, okay, because they're open from my command. But these doors, where there's like a little bit of a thicker top and the bottom to the opening on these doors right here, I cannot open and close these right now because they've been knocked down by the enemies inside. So you can, like, just see which doors you can still affect. Remember, you have to have power to your doors, and the system has to be working for you to be able to open and close doors, and this can be a nightmare if you have open doors that you want to close. All right, so they're working on this. They're going to be in the door room in just one moment, okay? But I'm going to just continue to let them take O2 damage. Okay, they're in, and now you can see what the borders are. There's a couple of humans, it looks like. I'm going to move my person to the med bay. Okay. And from this point, I'm going to just go ahead and, while the doors are still working, I'm going to close the doors up. And these doors, now I can close them again. It's just a temporary delay when the doors have been burst that you can open or close them. So I can't affect these right now, but these are back to normal. And I'm going to turn the O2 back on. I'm going to cut my engines. I don't need to dodge anything right now. I'm turning the O2 back on. And I'm actually going to send 2 people in here. So you can only send the amount of crew into a room based on how many squares there are. And I'm going to send them in here to fight. Now, you can see now that we engage with them, their health bars do appear. And we were able to basically drain, about 20% of their health with that oxygen trick. And that's actually not bad. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to repair my sensor room just for the heck of it. Now, we're fighting. We're taking damage. And while you're fighting, you're getting combat experience. It's the bottom skill, the fist. That means combat skill. And all we have to do is just let this happen a little bit. And once our people take some damage and it gets scary, we will run them into the med bay. But these borders are actually pretty bad. So I'm going to just take this person out and put this person in. We won't even need to actually heal that much. But you want to just pause the game, monitor your health, and we're going to kill them both right here. And I'm going to take this person out, and we've won. Okay, and we're healing back up. Let's just heal everybody to full in the med bay. Once they're full, go ahead and fix the sensors. Let's just kind of chill out. We're full, so I'm going to turn the ship back to normal. You can come in here and help fix the sensors. Once we get this repaired, we're good to go. So unfortunately, this event, we handled it really well. We didn't take that much damage, but unfortunately, it just, didn't give us that much. And by that much, I mean anything. All we got was a little bit of combat experience. So, could have been worse, but it wasn't great. Now here comes the Rebel fleet. There's a store right here, too. But remember, we just don't have enough money. So I'm going to jump over here. And there's nothing, unfortunately. Now I could jump here and then try to jump back, but then every node that I could reach is already visited. So instead, I'm going to go here, here, then maybe go to the store. Then we can go here, but it's not great. I'm actually going to go here and then go to the store and then work back my way over. Yeah, typical Nebula. Okay, I'm going to go to the store. All right, what do they got? So, this is our first time. Did we see a store before? Yeah, I think we did. You know, there's some interesting stuff here. We don't have too much to sell. We could sell our automated reloader for 20 scrap. By the way, the sell value, when you mouse over something, you can see it. But, it's not amazing. They don't have anything that, like, I'm falling over myself to get. So what I'm going to do... Having a slug crew would be kind of cool. You know, especially in the Nebula, they can reveal life forms even when the sensors are down. So, you know, that's nice, I guess. But there's a Mantis. Mantis are great. I haven't really talked about the species too much because we haven't seen them. So when you go to hire crew, there's different types. This guy's a human. And there's different species. This is a Mantis. Mantis are terrible at repairing, but they're awesome at fighting. So they're sweet for either boarding the enemy ship or defending against enemy boarders. They do 1.5 extra damage, basically. They do 1.5 times damage in combat, and they move faster. So they're really sweet. The slugs are immune to mind control, and they reveal rooms and life forms, okay, which is nice, but not super great. But remember, you want to try to have as much like biodiversity on your ship as you can to get blue events. So I'd love to actually buy this slug, but I would have to sell my automated reloader to do it, and that's a shame. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'm actually going to sell this. This is a great augment. It's great. But if I sell it, I get 20, and I'm actually going to buy this Mantis. Mantis is just so fantastic at helping with boarders. And we have 3 crew members, which is great, but a 4th means we can put this Mantis on our shields and have a good defense against boarders, which I really like. All right, so I'm going to go into my ship. I'm going to buy a little fuel. Remember, I want to have like 10 to 12, but I'm topping off because I want to hit a bunch of nodes. I'm going to go to my ship. And whenever you buy, they usually start up here in the cockpit. So here's Philip. I'm going to tell Philip to go to the shields. And now we have a 4th crew member. Right here, our Mantis. And I'm going to save the positions, and now we have people working all the shields. If you have shields manned, they just recharge faster. So now we have 2 shield bubbles that recharge faster, which is fantastic. And we can jump, and I'll jump over here. All right, and it's a Rebel Scout. This is an unmanned ship. There's no plasma storm, so this should be easy peasy. But they're trying to escape. Okay, they have a beam and a laser. We're totally fine here. All right, so we're just going to unpause, or I'm going to pause it rather, and just tell my burst laser. They have no shields. So if we take out their piloting first, they won't be able to jump, and they won't be able to dodge. So we're just going to kind of stand here and let this happen. All right, they can't hurt us. And there, you could see their FTL has been delayed because we took out piloting. Remember, to jump, you have to have both engines and the FTL. And now I'm just going to hit their engines. This system is red. Enemy ships that are automated scouts, by the way, they do usually have like a repair system built in. It's like an auto repair. So over time, they will heal up. It's not like they're dead in the water because they have no crew to repair. They have some kind of like automated repair, but it's not going to help them here because they can't dodge. So all 3 of our hits guaranteed. All 3 of our blasts are guaranteed to hit. We get more fuel and some scrap, and that's great. All right, so let's look at the beacon map here. And, you know, we're in a nebula, so we get the luxury of moving maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say they go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can definitely go at least to these 3 and out, but maybe we can hit this one too. Oh no, but we have to. Ooh, it's a little dodgy. We have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 out if we want to do that. And that might be a bit too close. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They'd be like here, and I'd be here. I think we could do it, but it's close. We'll see really fast. All right, it's a rebel ship, and, you know, the habit that I like to get in at this stage is just getting better at assessing the threat. Okay, so you can stay hidden or you can fight him. Of course, we want to fight him because we want the resources, but we still need to check if that's the right decision. So I can see what appears to be 2 lasers. Okay, there's no plasma storm. And they have 1 shield bubble, so this is actually a very easy ship for us to defeat. So you want to think about, all right, how much hull strength do I have? How many resources do I have in terms of missiles? Will I need those here? How strong is their ship? How good are their weapon systems? You know, are there environmental hazards that I need to consider? And what systems do they have? You know, do they have hacking, mind control, boarding with teleportation? No, they don't have any of that. It's a very basic ship, so let's chase them down. But we couldn't actually catch them, unfortunately, because of the nebula. So here, they're chasing us. We're going to go here. And empty beacon, as to be expected. We're going to go here. And all right, automated ship. Okay, so this is an advanced Rebel automated ship, though. It's a little bit perhaps more robust than your basic one. But I can't tell what weapons it has at the moment because they're kind of hiding. But it does have drones, so we need to think about that. And we definitely want to attack it. We've been getting a lot of empty beacons, so we need to get resources. All right. So they have an attack drone and they have a laser. Okay, this is actually sweet. They should not be able to get through our shields at all. There's no plasma storm. So we're going to just not even use missiles, take our burst laser, and they do have shields. So I'm just going to auto fire on that. And now if this fires a bunch and it syncs up, there is a possibility that they hit us right here, but it's unlikely. Oh no, it only fires. Never mind. This laser that they have only fires once. So yeah, there's no way they can get through our shield, so we're good. We just took down their shield. Not bad. And I'm actually going to go over and target their piloting. All right, we missed, but now it's off. So now they can no longer dodge. So I'm going to just damage another system. I'm going to tell my... let's go ahead and take out their weapons, you know, just for fun. Bam. They have 2 hit points left. They can't dodge. They can't shoot us. it's a good spot to be in. So I'll just tell my burst laser to hit their engine, and it'll be over when we fire. How's everybody doing? Philip is learning the shields. I mean, every time basically the shields get damaged and he has to work on recharging them, he's going to start leveling up. Where the shields, I think, just when they take damage, you know. We get 31 scrap and we investigate the station. Hey! The station has various resources, so we get some scrap and some fuel. That's great. Okay, we're catching up a little bit. So we can talk at this point about where do we want to go? Like, what do we want to be using scrap for? I'd love a better weapon. Our weapon loadout is actually pretty reasonable, but ships are going to get harder. And one of the best ways to be successful in FTL is to just blow up the enemy ship before it becomes a threat to you. And what I mean is, let me close that door. If you let the fight just go on and on and on, there is a potential that you just will take some attrition damage. Like, they'll get some lucky shots in. There could be a fire, a breach, you know, they could run away. Like, there's just all kinds of stuff that you don't want to happen. So if you can annihilate them first, or at least take out some of their powerful systems first to cripple their ship, that is definitely something positive that we want to work on. 2 shield bubbles is good for now. I mean, we'd love 3, but it's quite expensive. So what we're thinking about is, you know, we could certainly upgrade our weapon system to allow for more power, but we don't have any weapons right now anyway. So I'm not going to just spend scrap upgrading my ship because I want to save it. There might be a shop. There might be something. Ooh, there's a distress beacon. We have enough time to get there. We're going to go here. We could even just cut inside to the nebula and go out, or we could just stay. Depends. But distress are something that you usually want to prioritize getting because it means there is a ship, but there's something. Okay, they're having a difficult time to get through the asteroid field, and we can offer them assistance. And they say our shields are down and we won't last long. So you can try to shield their ship with yours. This is something where, like, if it goes badly, you're going to take some hull damage, but I'm going to try it. Okay, and we tried, but one stray rock hits a key structure on their ship and it breaks apart, and everybody is dead. It's a grisly scene, but we can salvage some scrap from their ship. And, I mean, it's just a brutal game. But we do get 15 scrap. So let's honor their sacrifice by winning. All right. And do we want to go Nebula, or do we want to go here? We have enough time. The exit will be in the warning when we jump, but that's okay. Let's see. It goes in the warning, and then we jump, and then... No, you know what? I'm going to cut in just because I want to slow them down even more. I don't want any funny business. A heavily damaged Federation ship is hiding in a nebula. So we can try to fight them. I'm sorry, help them because they're us. But usually we will lose them, but let's try it. So we follow them, but we can't follow them with our sensors, and we're going to hit the exit. And we made it. And, oh, we get this event again. All right, so they want to take our missiles. We can do this again. They hate it. It doesn't do anything. And again, I'm not going to give them 5 missiles. I have more than I had last time, but I want my missiles. So we're just going to respectfully decline and say, thanks so much. And we're going to jump, and look how close we were to being in a bad position. Going to the nebula kind of saved us. I cut it way too close right there. But we're good. So we're going to go to the next sector, and we can go to the Zoltan homeworlds or Zoltan controlled. Now, Zoltan are a cool species. We've talked about the humans. We've talked about Mantis because we bought one. We looked at Slug. I'll also mention some other species. I don't want to spoil too much for you, so there's some secret stuff that I'm not going to talk about, but there are rock. We saw a rock ship before. They are super hardy. They have, like, instead of 100 starting health, they have 150 health, but they move really slowly. So that means, like, trying to get them around your ship is a pain because they go so slowly. But they're good in combat because they have a lot of hit points, and they're immune to fire, so they're awesome at, like, putting out fires. Now, there's also NG, okay? So the NG have a starter ship that you can unlock if you beat the game with the Kestrel. and they are awesome at repairing. They're terrible in combat. They have bad combat skills, but I think they repair twice as fast or 50% faster, something like that. So they're good at repairing. They're great. And then there are Zoltan, which generate power into themselves. So like you can put them in a system, and they will provide it with 1 power beyond what your reactor is giving it. So you can use this to your advantage very easily. So they're great too. So these are things to consider. Now, Zoltan ships typically have like some insane shields that you don't want to mess with. But I think, we don't have a choice. We're going Zoltan. We don't have any Zoltan on our ship, so it'd be nice to get one. The events won't go our way if they are Zoltan required. I'm going to go to the Zoltan homeworlds because this would give us a choice of next time either going to a hostile sector or a civilian sector. Whereas if we went here, it's just hostile both ways. And we need to figure out like where we're going to be, and just assess at that point. So I'm going to jump over, and we arrive. We've got 76 scrap. Our hull strength is just fine. We have plenty of fuel, good amount of missiles. We do have the 2 shield bubbles. We got a 4th crew member, and we're doing really well. So we're in a nebula right now, like I told you. So nebula can occur where the sector itself is not a nebula, and all of these and these purple clouds are nebula. So the sensors are offline. The fleet will pursue slower, but then once we get out to this wide open stretch, the fleet will go normally and our sensors will work. And we'll get into this Sector 3 next time. Everyone, I hope you're still finding this guide to be useful and informative. Take care.